All right, everybody, happy Saturday. It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a safe and enjoyable weekend. And yeah, in this one, I wanted to talk about, I want to take you back in time on this one because, and not just because it's related to the subject at hand, but also because 5 years ago, I created this YouTube channel and I posted my first video. It was April 15th of 2015. And the first video I posted, if memory serves correctly, is what if Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, and Treyarch were to combine forces? And I talked about that. And right now, it seems like we're finally getting some sort of hint of that, at least from the Infinity Ward and Treyarch side of things, because apparently you could play as Woods in, like something has been leaked to where you could play as Woods in Warzone or something like that in the future, or found in the PC files or whatnot. So obviously Captain Price is going to be playable in Season 4, and everybody's busting a nut about that apparently. But the thing is that Woods may also be playable, and that's like hinting at some sort of crossover. Woods and Price in the same game. It's only a step in the right direction, in my opinion, because I know that they exist in different times, but it would be pretty cool if somehow you've got Woods and Price both in their prime at the same time, like in the game, from campaign to multiplayer to battle royale to even zombies or whatnot. I mean, I think that would really be cool. I think if you implement, like, the game doesn't have to take place in the future. We've already been there and done that, and the Call of Duty community doesn't want that. But if just for the story's sake, at the very beginning of like the cutscene in the campaign, you had some sort of time travel thing going on that happened or whatnot, just briefly, in order to explain how this happened, and Price ended up being in Woods' time, or Woods ended up being in Price time, and you had both of those guys in the same game or whatnot, I think that would really be cool from a campaign perspective. I think a lot of players would really be happy with that, because the campaign itself is actually is something that a lot of the casuals are really passionate about. And Black Ops 4 definitely showed us that you can't omit campaign. I know that everybody that's watching my channel, or the majority of you guys, are multiplayer people, but at the same time, I know that there are those of you that are actually the casuals of the casual, and you guys love campaign, and you don't want campaign omitted, even if the campaign is short, like 5 or 6 hours or whatnot. Campaign, for those 5 or 6 hours, you know, you got to admit, Call of Duty, for the most part, makes a pretty damn good campaign for those 5 or 6 hours, or, you know, slightly more, slightly less, or whatever, of the replay value that they have in them. Obviously, if you play on Veteran, it's going to take a little bit longer, but for the most part, it's a short and sweet experience when it comes to Call of Duty's campaign. And a lot of the casuals absolutely love it, and they want to go through it, and they want to have that experience, they want to play it. And obviously, and there's also other people that are just trophy hunters and achievement hunters, and they want to play the campaign, and they want to be able to go through that. So I get it. Back before I became mainly a multiplayer guy, I used to play nothing but single player games, and I used to play all different aspects of games, like campaign. Like when I first started playing Call of Duty, Black Ops 1 was the one that I got into that really got me into Call of Duty. Black Ops 2 had me hooked all the way. But Modern Warfare 2 was actually my first Call of Duty. I didn't play it much, but I did play the campaign first before I got into multiplayer, and I decided to even play it on Veteran, and I actually did complete it on Veteran. It was a really satisfying experience, and it wasn't like crazy long or anything like that, but it was satisfying enough. So trust me when I tell you, I understand where the casual of the casuals are coming from. But I think from a multiplayer perspective as well would be a really good successful game, because I mean, the weapons, like some of the most iconic weapons from the Treyarch and Infinity Ward games, all in one game. It's almost like getting a Infinity Ward collection and a Treyarch collection without necessarily having a collection, and just basically making a brand new game from scratch, with Woods, with Mason, and with the weapons, the iconic weapons, with new ones, old maps, new maps, everything in between. I mean, everything that's going on with Call of Duty nowadays in terms of what's been leaked already, and some of these things that I talked about in terms of the maps that have been leaked for the next game, as well as the weapons and everything like that. I mean, and let's not mention the fact that Call of Duty very much is a different version of the same thing every year. I mean, one of my comments recently told me that, and I'm like, yes, absolutely, I agree. But the thing is that they could do that in a different way, though. They can do it in a different way, and they can literally combine both the greatest aspects from both sides, and I think that'll make a lot of fans happy, because as you guys know, 3-lane maps, even though I believe 3-lane maps are my, well, it's true, the 3-lane maps are my preference, but at the same time, I'm very well aware that there are other maps out there that are not necessarily 3-lane maps, that are iconic maps that flow well and play well, and support a multitude of play styles without them necessarily being 3-lane maps. And some of those have come from the COD 4 Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 days. that a lot of fans have come to appreciate. So imagine having the best maps from both of those series in the game. Even Modern Warfare 3 itself actually had some pretty damn solid maps as well. I mean, honestly, I think Dome is one of the best small maps out there. I like Dome better than Nuketown a lot of times, to be honest, if not all the time. Strike Zone is probably my favorite. I think that was like one of the gems in Call of Duty Ghosts. Cranked was another one that I liked about Call of Duty Ghosts. I mean, it's like they had a game that could have been better in so many ways and so easily, but it just didn't execute properly, at least in my opinion. But you guys know where I'm going with this. The potential is definitely there. There are definitely hints all over the place. And Battle Royale, also known as Warzone at this point, is going to take us there. And it's great because there's so many people playing Warzone. Warzone is free to play. So it's really the best way to get that promotion out there. Like, hey, this is the direction that we're heading in. And it really looks like that, since Warzone is said to be something that's going to be quote-unquote constant, and that it's constantly going to be upgraded and they're constantly going to be using it, it makes perfect sense because it's the perfect way to get the word out there about promotions and stuff like that that's coming up with the game. And again, the free-to-play aspect, I mean, I'm glad that they're using it. I'm glad that it's free because it really it is the best way to get the word out there and to increase your popularity, increase your success and with the game and all that kind of stuff. And if they play their cards right, then I will be the first to congratulate them and to tip my hat to them. And what's playing your cards right? Well, here's what's playing your cards right means. Lower skill-based matchmaking, because believe it or not, guys, even in Black Ops 1 days, it was just toned down. There always was some form of skill-based matchmaking in the game, right? So I'm going to say this: tone down skill-based matchmaking to the way it was, like, let's say in Black Ops 1, right? Tone it down. Microtransactions should be cosmetic only. The game should have a grind factor. The game should have all the modes that the Call of Duty community has been accustomed to. You can't have too much cut and paste, and if you do, you better have just as much as new content as well, so that way we don't feel like we're playing too much of the same game over and over again, even though some people out there will disagree and say, hey, it's been the same thing for years now, what are you complaining about? It's like, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, there's enough of a different element in there to at least make it feel like a new Call of Duty title, because that's what Call of Duty is. It has its own unique, distinct feel to it, but you got to figure out a way to make it feel a little bit different every year without necessarily taking something from another game or another franchise and implementing it into your own, because we found out that that's not always the right thing to do. In some aspects it is. If you get the amount right, the dosage right, it could work, but for the most part, if you overdo it, kind of like they did in Black Ops 4 with the Specialist, it doesn't work right, and it kind of ruins a lot of what makes Call of Duty good in the first place. Remember, the guns should always be the number one thing when it comes to Call of Duty. The guns. And then you got your streaks, you got your maps, you got your creative class and all that kind of stuff. But the guns and the things that lead up to those other things are actually what support that. So, or should I say the guns up mentality, so to speak. But yeah, man. I mean, with all this, with all these leaks coming out, and with all the hints that Warzone is providing to us with different hints, and we got some PlayStation reveal event next week. Who knows? Sega might even do something. It's going to be absolutely insane. And then you got the Xbox stuff going on in July. It really is a good time to be a gamer, dude. It really is a good time to be a gamer, and it's going to be a very unique and interesting time. And I'm really curious to see what happens with Call of Duty now, in terms of what direction they take, because we've literally gone in every single direction. We've gone to the past, we've gone to the future, we've done advanced movement, we've done boots on the ground. So right now we're doing Battle Royale, and I guess we might have some crossovers, and who knows what else. Maybe there's going to be some other game out there that is going to be like a big hit, like Fortnite, right? Some other free-to-play game with a different type of shooter that is going to be so popular that other games are going to be implementing their version of it as well, and it's going to be like rinse and repeat all over again, but just a different type of game instead of Battle Royale. And hopefully, for my sake, in terms of the type of gameplay that I like, faster paced. Hopefully, it's something that's faster paced. You know, I wish I liked Battle Royale so I could be into it just as much as everybody else, and to kind of be on the Warzone train, so to speak. But it's just even some of my friends have requested that I play Warzone with them, and I'm like, it's not my thing. It just isn't my thing. I wouldn't be having fun. And on top of that, I prefer to play alone. I don't play with many people that often. But anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about, guys. I wanted to kind of give my thoughts about it, even though it was 5 years later, compared to the very first video I ever made, which is absolutely crazy. and how things are actually starting to kind of go towards that direction is absolutely it's fascinating. And again, I'm actually happy that it's happening through Warzone, because it's free to play, 70 million people or 60 million people. I mean, need I say more? But anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. I want you to let me know down in the comment section, what do you guys think about this? What are your opinions? Where do you think we will continue to head in the future? Is the future going to look bright? Is it going to look dark? I mean, let me know. And this is Jack, signing off.